I stood there holding my award while my cousin smiled at the crowd and said, "Honestly, I'm the reason she even has a career." Everyone clapped, and I felt my stomach drop. Because what she didn't know was that the director was standing right behind her. And he had the microphone. What came out of his mouth next didn't just embarrass her. It destroyed everything she'd built on lies. And the truth? It went back a lot further than anyone in that room knew. My name is Mara. I'm 32. I work in pharmaceutical sales for a major biotech firm based in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a competitive field. High pressure, high reward. And I earned every inch of ground I ever gained. My cousin Ashley is 35, 3 years older. And for most of my life, she acted like those 3 years made her my keeper. We grew up in the same town, Greenville, South Carolina. Our moms are sisters. Close sisters. The kind who talk every day and spend every holiday together. So Ashley and I were constantly around each other. Family dinners, birthdays, vacations, church on Sundays. And from the time I was little, Ashley made sure I knew she was ahead of me. She walked first, talked first, read first, got better grades, made the cheer team, got into college early. She was the golden child. The one aunts and uncles bragged about. The one my mom would compare me to when I brought home a B instead of an A. Ashley got straight A's, she'd say. Maybe you should ask her for study tips. I loved my cousin. But I also resented her. Because no matter what I did, it was never quite enough. And Ashley? She fed off that. She loved being the standard. The example. The success story. When I graduated high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I took a gap year, worked retail, saved money, figured things out. Ashley, meanwhile, had already finished her associate degree and was working her way through a bachelor's in business administration. My mom would sigh and say, "I wish you had Ashley's drive." I wanted to scream, but I kept quiet. I enrolled in community college, got my grades up, transferred to a 4-year school, majored in marketing, graduated with honors. And I did it without anyone's help. I was proud. But when I told my family, my aunt said, "That's wonderful, sweetie. Ashley just got promoted to HR coordinator." Isn't that amazing? It was always like that. If you've ever felt like you were competing with a family member who always had to be better, hit like. This gets worse. After college, I spent 2 years working for a small marketing firm in Charleston. The pay was okay. The experience was solid. But I wanted more. I wanted corporate. I wanted benefits. I wanted a real career. That's when I found the job posting for the biotech company in Charlotte. Sales associate. Entry level, but with room to grow. I applied on a whim. I didn't tell anyone. Not even my mom. 2 weeks later, I got a call. They wanted an interview. I drove 3 hours to Charlotte. Wore my best suit. Prepared for days. The interview went well. Really well. They asked tough questions. I had good answers. They liked my energy, my pitch, my confidence. A week later, they called me back. Second interview. Then a third. Then a final panel with the director of sales and 2 regional managers. I crushed it. They offered me the job on the spot. I said yes before they even finished talking. When I called my mom to tell her, she screamed. Happy screaming. She was proud. She told my aunt. My aunt told Ashley. And that's when Ashley said, "Wait, is that the company I work for?" My stomach sank. "You work there?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "I'm in HR. I've been here for 2 years." I had no idea you applied. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or anxious. She congratulated me. Said it would be great to have family around. Said she'd show me the ropes. I thanked her. But something felt off. When I started the job a month later, Ashley made a point of introducing me to everyone. She walked me around the office, took me to lunch, sat with me in the break room. At first, it felt supportive, helpful. But then she started saying things. "I'm so glad they listened to me about you. I knew you'd be a good fit. I told them you were worth taking a chance on." I didn't understand. I asked her what she meant. She smiled and said, "Oh, I just put in a good word during the hiring process. I wanted to make sure they knew you were solid." I didn't remember her being part of my interviews. I didn't remember anyone mentioning her. But I didn't push it. I figured maybe she'd talked to someone informally. Maybe she'd helped in a way I didn't see. So I said thank you. And that became the narrative. Ashley helped me get the job. Ashley vouched for me. Ashley gave me my start. She told everyone. And I let her. The first year was rough. Sales is hard. Cold calls. Rejections. Learning the product line. Understanding the clients. I worked long hours. I studied every night. I shadowed senior reps. I asked questions. I took notes. Ashley would check in on me. A lot. She'd stop by my desk. Ask how things were going. Offer tips that I didn't ask for. She'd CC herself on my emails to managers. She'd sit in on my team meetings even though she wasn't on my team. When I asked her why, she said, I just want to make sure you're doing okay. I feel responsible for you. Responsible. Like I was a project. A favor she'd done for the company. But I kept my head down. I focused on my numbers. And by the end of my first year, I'd hit my quota. Not by much, but I hit it. My manager was impressed. He told me I had potential. That if I kept it up, I'd move up fast. I was excited. Ashley congratulated me. Then she said, see? I knew you could do it. I'm glad I pushed for you. Pushed for me. I didn't know what that meant. But I was starting to get tired of hearing it. Year 2 was better. I landed a major client. A hospital network in Raleigh. It was a 6-figure contract. My biggest win yet. I worked on that account for months. Late nights. Weekend calls. Presentations. Negotiations. When I finally closed it, my manager took me out to celebrate. He said it was one of the best deals a junior rep had ever pulled off. I felt amazing. Then Ashley posted about it on LinkedIn. So proud of my cousin Mara for landing her first major client. I've been mentoring her since day one and it's incredible to see her growth. Here's to many more wins. Mentoring. She wasn't mentoring me. She barely knew what I did day to day. But her post got dozens of likes. Comments from coworkers. From managers. From people I reported to. And suddenly, people at work started treating me differently. Like I was Ashley's protege. Like she was the reason I was succeeding. I wanted to correct them. But I didn't know how. And honestly, I didn't want to start drama. So I stayed quiet. That was my first mistake. Comment stop if you think I should have called her out right then. By year 3, I was one of the top performers in my division. I wasn't just hitting quota anymore. I was exceeding it. I'd built strong relationships with my clients. I knew the products inside and out. I was confident. Effective. Good at my job. But Ashley's behavior was escalating. She started showing up to my client meetings. Unannounced. She'd introduce herself as part of Mara's support team. She'd sit in. Take notes. Smile and nod. My clients didn't know what to make of it. One of them asked me privately, is she your supervisor? I said no. He looked confused. Then why is she here? I didn't have a good answer. I talked to Ashley about it. I tried to be calm. I said, I appreciate you wanting to help, but I don't need you at my meetings. It's confusing for the clients. She looked hurt. I'm just trying to support you, Mara. I thought you'd appreciate having backup. I don't need backup, I said. I'm doing fine. She stared at me for a second. Then she smiled. Okay, I get it. You want to do it on your own now. That's great. I'm proud of you. But she didn't stop. She kept CCing herself on emails. She kept checking in with my clients. And worse, she started offering them her contact information. In case Mara's ever unavailable, she'd say. One of my clients forwarded me an email she'd sent. It said, Hi, client. Just wanted to introduce myself formally. I work closely with Mara and help manage her accounts behind the scenes. If you ever need anything and can't reach her, feel free to loop me in. I'm always happy to help. I felt my blood pressure spike. I forwarded it to my manager. I said, this isn't okay. She's overstepping. He agreed. He said he'd talk to HR. A week later, I got pulled into a meeting with him and an HR director I'd never met. Not Ashley. Someone above her. They told me they'd received my complaint. That they took it seriously. that they'd spoken to Ashley and reminded her of professional boundaries. I asked if there would be any consequences. They said it was being handled internally, that I should let them know if it continued. It felt like a slap on the wrist. But for a few weeks, Ashley backed off. She stopped emailing my clients, stopped showing up to meetings. She was polite but distant. I thought it was over. I was wrong. About 6 months before the award ceremony, I got a call from one of my clients, a purchasing director at a mid-sized clinic in Greensboro. She sounded annoyed. "Mara, I need to ask you something." "Who's Ashley?" My stomach dropped. "She's my cousin. She works in HR at my company." "Why?" "Because she called me yesterday and said she was your supervisor. She wanted to discuss our contract renewal. I told her I only work with you, and she got weird about it. Said she was just trying to help." It felt off. I closed my eyes. "I'm so sorry." "She's not my supervisor. She has nothing to do with your account. I'll handle this." "Please do," the client said. "Because if she calls me again, I'm escalating it." I hung up and immediately went to my manager. He wasn't happy. "This is the second time," he said. "We need to document this." He pulled in HR again. This time, they opened a formal review. They asked me for details. Dates, emails, names of clients Ashley had contacted. I gave them everything. They also asked if I wanted to file a formal complaint against her. I hesitated. She was family. This would blow up at home. My mom would be furious. My aunt would take her side. It would ruin holidays, ruin dinners, ruin everything. But I was tired. So I said yes. The HR director nodded. She said they'd investigate quietly, that Ashley wouldn't know I was the one who reported her. I didn't believe that, but I agreed. 2 weeks later, my manager called me into his office. He looked serious. "We found something," he said. He pulled up his laptop and turned it toward me. It was a log, a digital access log, showing every time Ashley had accessed files in the company system. And she'd been accessing mine. Client contracts, pricing spreadsheets, strategy documents, emails, all of it. For over a year. She's been forwarding them to her personal email, he said. "We don't know why, but it's a violation. A big one." I felt sick. "What happens now?" I asked. "We confront her," he said. "Officially. With HR present. And depending on her response, we'll decide next steps." I nodded. But inside, I was shaking. Type caught if you think she deserved what's coming. The meeting happened 3 days later. Ashley was called into a conference room. My manager was there, the HR director, and another senior HR rep I didn't recognize. I wasn't in the room, but my manager told me what happened afterward. They showed her the logs, the forwarded emails, the access records. At first, she denied it, said it must be a mistake, a system error. They showed her the timestamps, the exact files, the exact emails. She went quiet. Then she said she was just trying to stay informed so she could support me better. The HR director shut that down. She said, "You don't have clearance to access another employee's client files. You know that. You've been trained on data privacy. This is a serious breach." Ashley started crying. Said she didn't mean any harm. That she was just trying to help. That she felt responsible for me because she'd helped me get hired. My manager corrected her. "You didn't help her get hired," he said. "We didn't even know you were related until after she started. You had no part in the hiring decision." Ashley's face went red. She tried to argue. Said she'd talked to someone in recruiting. That she'd recommended me. They pulled the hiring records. There was no mention of her. No referral. No communication. She'd made it up. The HR director gave her 2 options. 1. Accept a formal written warning. Agree to stop all contact with my clients. Agree to restricted system access. Sign an acknowledgement of the breach. 2. Resign. Ashley chose option 1. She signed the papers. She left the room. And my manager said she looked destroyed. I should have felt relief. But I just felt tired. For the next few months, Ashley avoided me. At work, she'd walk the other way if she saw me in the hall. She stopped coming to company events. Stopped posting about work on LinkedIn. At family gatherings, she was cold. Polite but distant. She wouldn't look me in the eye. My mom asked me what happened. I told her there was a work issue. That it was handled. That I didn't want to talk about it. She pressed. I shut it down. My aunt called me. She said Ashley was going through something and that I should be supportive. I didn't respond. Then, in late September, I got the email. I'd been nominated for the company's annual Sales Excellence Award. I read it 3 times. I couldn't believe it. My manager called me right after. You earned this, he said. Your numbers. Your client relationships. Your professionalism. You're exactly who this award is for. I thanked him. I felt like I might cry. The ceremony was scheduled for mid-October. Black tie. Big event. The whole company. I told my mom. She was thrilled. She told my aunt. And my aunt told Ashley. A few days later, Ashley texted me. Congrats on the nomination. I'm really happy for you. It felt stiff. Forced. I replied, thanks. She didn't text back. But a week before the event, she posted on LinkedIn again. Excited to celebrate my cousin Mara at our company's awards ceremony next week. Watching her grow has been one of the highlights of my career. Can't wait to see her shine. I stared at the post. She was doing it again. Share this video if you think people like this never learn. The night of the ceremony, I drove to the hotel alone. I didn't want to ride with anyone. I needed space. I needed to focus. I wore a navy blue dress. Simple. Elegant. Professional. I didn't want attention. I just wanted to accept the award and enjoy the moment. When I walked into the ballroom, it was already packed. Round tables. White linens. Centerpieces. A stage at the front with a podium and a screen. I found my table. My manager was there. A few colleagues. Some clients I'd worked with. They congratulated me. We talked. Laughed. It felt good. Then Ashley walked in. She wore a bright red dress. Tight. Low cut. Heels so high she wobbled. She looked like she was going to a nightclub, not a corporate event. People turned. Stared. She smiled. Waved. Worked the room like she was the guest of honor. I watched her stop at table after table. Shaking hands. Hugging people. Laughing loud. She made her way to my director. To the VP of sales. To people I'd spent years building trust with. And I saw her gesture toward me. Saw her mouth moving. Saw people nod and smile. I knew what she was saying. My manager leaned over. Is she okay? I said no. But there's nothing I can do about it. He frowned. Ashley eventually made her way to our table. She sat down next to me. Kissed my cheek. You look great, she said. Thanks, I said. So do you. She smiled. I'm so proud of you, Mara. This is such a big night. I didn't respond. Dinner was served. Salmon. Roasted vegetables. Dessert. People ate. Talked. Drank wine. Then the lights dimmed. The MC took the stage. A senior VP I'd met a few times. He welcomed everyone. Thanked the sponsors. Talked about the importance of recognizing excellence. Then he started announcing the awards. Leadership first. A woman from operations. She gave a nice speech. People clapped. Then operations. A guy from supply chain. Another good speech. Then sales. My heart started pounding. The MC read my name. This year's Sales Excellence Award goes to Mara Mitchell. Mara joined us 4 years ago and has consistently been one of our top performers. She's built incredible client relationships, exceeded her targets year after year, and embodies the professionalism and dedication we value. Mara, come on up. The room erupted. I stood. My legs felt shaky. I walked to the stage. Greg, the director, handed me the plaque. It was heavy. Real wood. Engraved. I held it. Smiled. The room was still clapping. I stepped up to the mic. Thank you, I said. This means more to me than I can say. I want to thank my team. My clients. My manager. Everyone who believed in me. I didn't get here alone. But I got here because I worked for it. And I'm grateful. People clapped again. I walked off stage. Sat back down. And that's when Ashley stood up. She grabbed her wine glass, tapped it with a fork. The room quieted. She smiled wide. I just want to say a few words. No one had asked her to. But she kept going. I've known Mara my whole life. We grew up together. We're family. And watching her get to this point has been incredible. People smiled. It seemed sweet. She looked at me. When Mara applied here 4 years ago, I knew she'd be great. I talked to the right people. I made sure they saw her potential. I told them, give her a chance. She's worth it. My stomach turned. And since then, I've tried to guide her. Mentor her. Be there when she needed advice. I've watched her grow from someone who was unsure of herself into the confident professional she is today. She paused. Raised her glass. So honestly, I feel like this award is a little bit mine too. Because I helped build this. I helped build her. She smiled. Sipped her wine. A few people clapped. Awkward. Uncomfortable. I felt my face burning. But before I could say anything, Greg stood up. He didn't look at Ashley. He walked straight to the front of the room. Took the microphone from the MC. The room went silent. He turned. Looked directly at Ashley. I think we need to clear something up. Ashley's smile froze. Greg's voice was calm. Steady. But firm. Ashley, I've heard you say a few times now that you helped Mara get hired. That you put in a good word. That you mentored her. And I want to set the record straight. Right now. In front of everyone. The room was dead silent. Mara applied on her own. She went through 4 rounds of interviews. We didn't know you two were related until after she was hired. You didn't refer her. You didn't recommend her. You had 0 involvement in the hiring process. Ashley's face went pale. Greg continued. In fact, when we pulled the hiring records a few months ago, there was no mention of you. No email. No call. No referral. Nothing. So whatever you've been telling people, it's not true. People were staring now. Greg wasn't done. I also want to address something else. About 6 months ago, Mara's manager flagged a concern. Client files were being accessed without authorization. We traced it back to you. Ashley's hands gripped the table. You accessed her client contracts, her pricing documents, her emails, and you forwarded them to your personal account. For over a year. Gasps. Actual gasps. We confronted you. You admitted it. You signed a formal acknowledgement. You were given a warning. Your access was restricted. Ashley looked like she wanted to disappear. But tonight, standing here, taking credit for her work again, I realized something. You haven't learned. You don't respect her. You don't respect this company. And you don't respect the truth. He looked around the room. Mara didn't need you. She never did. Every client she's landed. Every deal she's closed. Every goal she's hit. That's hers. Not yours. And the only thing you ever gave her was interference. The silence was crushing. Greg handed the mic back. Ashley sat down. Hard. Her face was bright red. Her hands were shaking. I couldn't move. If this gave you chills, comment truth below. The ceremony ended shortly after. People didn't know what to do. Some clapped politely. Others got up quickly and left. A few colleagues came up to me. Said congratulations. Said they were sorry. Said they didn't know. I thanked them. I didn't know what else to say. Ashley didn't come near me. She grabbed her purse and left through a side door. Fast. Head down. My manager sat with me for a while. He said, "Are you okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, I think so." He said, "You didn't deserve that. Any of it." I said, "I know." But part of me wondered if I'd done something wrong. If I should have stopped Greg. If I should have protected her. Then I remembered everything she'd done. And I stopped wondering. The next morning, my phone exploded. Texts from my mom. My aunt. My uncle. Cousins I hadn't talked to in years. My mom said, "What happened last night? Your aunt is hysterical." She said Greg humiliated Ashley in front of everyone. I called her. Explained what actually happened. What Ashley had been doing. The files. The clients. The lies. My mom went quiet. Then she said, "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I knew you'd make me feel bad for reporting her," I said. She didn't argue. My aunt called me later. She was furious. "How could you let that happen to her?" she yelled. "She's your family, Mara. She was just trying to help you." "She wasn't helping me," I said. "She was stealing from me." "That's not how she sees it." "I don't care how she sees it," I said. "It's the truth." She hung up on me. I didn't call back. Ashley texted me that night. "I can't believe you let him do that to me." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, "You did this to yourself." She didn't respond. 2 days later, I got called into a meeting. Greg, the VP of HR, and a legal consultant I'd never seen before. They told me they were opening a full investigation into Ashley's conduct. Not just the file access. Everything. Her communications with my clients. Her misrepresentation of her role. Her use of company resources for personal gain. They said they wanted to make sure I felt protected. That nothing she did would affect my career. I told them I appreciated it. They asked if I wanted to pursue any legal action personally. I said no. I just wanted it over. They nodded. Said they'd keep me updated. A week later, Ashley was placed on administrative leave. She didn't come to the office. Her desk was cleared. Her email was deactivated. People whispered. I kept my head down. It's been 4 months since that night. Ashley no longer works at the company. I don't know all the details. From what I heard, she was given the option to resign during the investigation. She took it. No dramatic exit. No announcement. She was just gone. I heard through my mom that she's working at a smaller firm now. Somewhere outside Charlotte. Lower pay. Less responsibility. My mom said she's struggling. I didn't ask for more. At work, things got better. People stopped whispering. Stopped looking at me weird. The truth was out. And once it was, people respected me more. Not because of what Greg said, but because they saw I'd handled it with dignity. I didn't trash her. I didn't gloat. I just kept working. And my work spoke for itself. Last month, I got promoted. Senior account executive. It came with a raise. A bigger territory. A corner office. My manager said, "You've earned this 10 times over." I believed him. My relationship with my family is complicated now. My mom and I are fine. She apologized for not listening sooner. She said she didn't realize how bad it was. I told her it's okay. And it is. My aunt doesn't talk to me anymore. She blocked me on social media. Didn't invite me to Thanksgiving. My mom went without me. I stayed home. Ordered takeout. Watched movies. It was the best Thanksgiving I'd had in years. Some of my cousins reached out. Said they were sorry. Said they didn't know what Ashley had been doing. I appreciated it. But I kept my distance. Because the truth is, I don't need people who only believe me after the damage is public. I need people who trust me before it gets to that point. And those people? They're the ones still in my life. The hardest part wasn't the event. It wasn't the confrontation. It wasn't even the fallout. It was letting go of the guilt. For weeks after, I kept replaying it, wondering if I'd been too harsh. If I should have warned Ashley. If I should have given her another chance. But then I'd remember. She accessed my files for over a year. She contacted my clients behind my back. She lied about helping me get hired. She took credit for my work in front of the entire company. And she never apologized. Not once. So I stopped feeling guilty. I stopped carrying her weight. And I started living my life without her shadow over it. I'm lighter now. Clearer. I don't second-guess myself the way I used to. I don't wonder if I deserve my success. I know I do. Work is good. Really good. I just closed another major deal. A hospital network in Virginia. 7 figures. My biggest yet. My director personally called to congratulate me. Said I'm on track for another award next year. I smiled. Said thank you. But this time, I'm not worried about who's going to try to take credit. Because I've learned something important. The people who matter know the truth. And the people who don't? They don't matter. I've also started mentoring. For real. Not the way Ashley pretended to. There's a new junior rep on my team. 24. Nervous. Eager. Reminds me of myself 4 years ago. I meet with her once a week. Answer her questions. Share what I've learned. Give her real advice. I don't take credit for her wins. I don't hover. I don't overstep. I just support her. Because that's what mentorship actually looks like. If you believe in real mentorship, not fake credit taking, comment real below. So here's what I want you to take from this. First, if someone keeps taking credit for your work, don't ignore it. Don't let it slide. Don't convince yourself it's not a big deal. It is. Because it's not just about credit. It's about respect. And if someone doesn't respect your work, they don't respect you. Second, family doesn't mean free pass. Just because someone's related to you doesn't mean they get to use you, manipulate you, undermine you. Blood doesn't excuse bad behavior. Third, the truth always comes out. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but eventually, people see who you really are. And they see who they really are. You don't have to force it. You just have to stay consistent. Stay honest. Stay professional. The truth does the rest. Fourth, don't carry guilt for other people's consequences. Ashley lost her job because of what she did. Not because of what I did. I reported the truth. She created the situation. Her consequences are hers to carry. Not mine. And finally, you don't need people who only stood by you after you proved yourself publicly. You need people who believed in you quietly. Before the applause. Before the recognition. Those are your people. Everyone else is just noise. I'm 32. I have a career I'm proud of. I have colleagues who respect me. I have clients who trust me. I have a life I built myself. No one handed it to me. No one paved the way. No one put in a good word. I applied. I interviewed. I worked. I earned it. And now, when someone asks me how I got here, I don't hesitate. I tell them the truth. I did it myself. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button right now. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had someone take credit for your success? What did you do about it? And subscribe to this channel. Because I'm bringing you more real stories like this. Stories about truth, justice, and people who finally got what they deserved. Don't miss the next one.